Hi everyone, my name is Alan Downey. I'm one of the many volunteers on the number 11 project, and so for our update this month we decided we'd do a video update because we have quite a bit of progress that we want to show you. So I'm going to walk you through a few main areas that we've made some significant progress throughout the shop and on the locomotive, and we'll go from there. So one of the most substantial areas of progress for us over the last couple months has obviously been the near completion of the rear frame. So in the lead up to the fall work weekend and then closing out over the fall work weekend, every single rivet that is meant to be installed on this frame was installed by the team. They started out by using the Hanna squeeze riveter to actually machine rivet anywhere that it could possibly fit. And I think we'll have some video that we're going to include in here of that operation because it's pretty cool. But so anywhere we could get the squeeze riveter, we got that in and made those rivets. And then where access was a little bit more restricted and we couldn't actually fit the machine, we broke out the air buck and pneumatic riveting handguns, and those rivets were installed. All of the rivets that are going to be installed in the rear frame have been now. And so what you see left that are bolted connections, those are locations where, as part of our design process, we determined that we would not be able to physically fit a rivet gun satisfactorily. And so we have intentionally designed those to be bolted connections. And you can still see a few places where there are clearly going to be some bolts installed, but for the most part, those are done as well. So things are looking very, very, very far along with this, and we're pretty excited about the progress. So, can't remember when now, a few weeks ago, the replacement cylinder saddles for the defective castings that had been sent, those all arrived, or they both arrived. And one of the first things that we did when we received them was we sent a borescope down all of the various passageways of each one of the saddle castings, just to make sure that there weren't any issues, make sure that there weren't any sand inclusions we had to worry about, or sand we still needed to clean out from the casting process. And we have to say, everything looks fantastic, and we are so excited to finally have the future cylinder saddle of number 11 here with us today. For those of us who have been involved in the project for 10 plus years, the reality of seeing these components here in cast iron is just astounding. This is undoubtedly one of the most complicated parts to cast on the engine. I mean, that almost goes without saying for those of us who are familiar with steam locomotives. And so, absolutely credit to the foundry for being able to make it happen. And we are just so thrilled that that we didn't have to compromise on how these cylinder saddles were produced in order to achieve a true representation of how Wiscasset 7 was built back in 1907 with our representation as number 11. So all that to say, next week from when this is being filmed, these are going to be taken to a machine shop that we've worked with before. And we're going to be having a discussion with that machine shop team about the exact setup procedures and requirements that we have, in addition to, of course, bringing our drawing packages. And then they'll probably stay there for a little bit because this is not an urgent job, and they do well by us. They don't charge us an arm and a leg for this kind of work. So it might be a little while till they're actually machined and ready. But the point is they're here and the process is able to start, and we have absolute confidence that once we get these in the hands of the machine shop team, that they're going to do a fantastic job putting these together for us. So the next time that we see these here at Wiscasset, or in Alna, I should say, they should be a fully machined and assembled cylinder saddle assembly. So that'd be great. So on the note of really big castings that are here, obviously the rear frame extension has actually been here since about May, and we've slowly been working on it. The progress over the last couple months on this hasn't been earth-shattering the same way that the cylinder saddles or the rear frame getting here has been. But the point is that we're continuing to work on it, and we're nearing the end of the machining operations on this. Kind of the last things to do require just a lot of really delicate and precise setup that we want to make sure we get right. But once this is done, then we're going to be ready to bolt it up to the rear frame. So hopefully that'll be soon. So one of the last things that we did during the fall work weekend was actually to bring in the front frame rails, which we ordered and were delivered back in 2020. Had been out in storage in the container. We brought those into the shop because we are nearing the point at which we're going to want to actually join the front frame rails to the rear frame. So back to that rear frame extension that I was just talking about. Once that's done, that's going to be the piece that unlocks our ability to start to actually assemble the length of the locomotive as a unit. Now, for those of you who might be a little bit more familiar with steam locomotive work and assembly, you ordinarily wouldn't be able to, you can't assemble your front frame without having your cylinder saddle available to put together. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit of time just because of lead time on machining, and we're okay with that. So what we're going to do is actually build a fixture which holds the front of the front frame at the same position where the cylinder saddle would hold them. It'll be exactly to the same print dimensions that the cylinder saddle's critical dimensions will be. And so what that'll let us do is advance the work of assembling the front frame while that work on the cylinder saddle is happening off-site at the machine shop. And so as soon as that rear frame extension is done, it's just going to be a matter of time until we're able to put the entire length of the locomotive together, at which point it will start to fill Bay 2. Rather than being off-center, we'll probably center it up a little bit. There's some other things that we're working through, other projects that are taking up space in here right now that we'll want to give them time and space to finish. But boy, it's pretty amazing seeing all the main fundamental structural elements of the locomotive frame here today. They're all in disparate parts for now, but it's just a matter of time until we see it all coming together. So all that to say, this has been our update for November. We want to thank you, our members, our supporters, our volunteers, for everything that you guys have done to help make this a reality. It's been an exciting time, and we can't wait to keep picking away at this and see it going down the tracks one day.